Another classic
that has been adapted.
Mm-hmm. This is Cabaret. And at one point I would have said it's Kander Ebb's most famous show. Now I think it's got some competition from Chicago, but it's still, I think it is their most brilliant show. And this was a book by Joe Masteroff, who also did the book for She Loves Me, which totally different type of atmosphere.
And the director here was?
And the director here is Rebecca Frecknell.
Who I believe is English, because this started in England.
Right, which you would think that bodes well, because the last time we had Cabaret with Alan Cummings, it started in England. And I had seen a revival with Joel Grey, the original MC. And then I saw the one with Alan Cummings, and I think, oh, this is what it must have been like in the 60s. This is the feel that you got. It was just so brilliant. And here, they have a very interesting twist in that 75 minutes before the show starts, you're invited to come to the Kit Kat Klub. So you enter the theater, they put a patch over your phone's lens, and you go around to these 3 bars, and there are performers and musicians, all in these exotic,
Does anybody take the patch off?
over the top. I didn't see anyone on the night.
The first thing I would think of is to take the patch off. Go ahead.
In these over-the-top costumes, and they walk around and they walk past the audience. They do their best not to mingle. You may get a reaction out of them if you wave or smile. And were these specially amazing performances? Not really, but the novelty and the atmosphere was just so much fun that when everyone is in their seats and when Cabaret starts, you have one of the most enthusiastic audiences.
You want to know why? Because it was an open bar.
But no, it was a cash bar.
It was a cash bar. It was an open bar at intermission. Oh, it depended on. We had a
critics pass.
We had Chris pass.
And by the way, some of the seats have phones, and you may actually get a call.
Oh,
when a person person sitting in front of me actually got a call. You can't make a call, but you can get.
That's
and then the show starts. In Houston, we have a problem. Or Berlin, we have a problem.
Right.
Because I don't know what this lady had in mind putting this show together.
Again, see, adaptation and adaptation.
Well, again, as we saw with Alan Cummings, freshening the show up.
Yep, you can do that.
But here it loses focus.
Right.
The MC comes out, and in the past he's been in this tux, or in Cummings' case, what's left of a tux. He's got the white makeup on. He doesn't have that here. He's got like these harem pants or gauchos. He's got a shirt, and he's got a party hat or a dunce hat.
He's got a T-shirt, right? And he's the palest.
He's not
white person I've ever seen.
Yeah, but no makeup. And that is Eddie Redmayne.
Eddie Redmayne, right?
And then Sally comes out. That's Gail Rankin, and she's this grotesque baby doll. And it's very strange. And then
because she's too old, or because
because I think that's how the director I think the director wanted it that way.
Yeah, but I mean, what was the part of it that was very strange?
I'm not used to seeing Sally dressed up like that.
The costume.
It's an unusual costume. Normally, she comes out with something, I won't say more glamorous, but more sensual.
Okay.
And then she has a romance with an American writer who's visiting Germany in hopes of inspiration. And that's Clifford Bradshaw. And he is supposed to be the focal point of the play.
He's played by Otto Blankson Wood, who
yes.
we saw him in Slave Play, and you saw him in The Park.
In the first part of the show, she's walking around in a bustier with her wig cap on, and as she becomes more domesticated, you see her natural hair, you see her in more modest clothing. At the same time, the MC is getting more grotesque. He's in this clown makeup, and by the way, I am sick and tired of evil clowns. I like funny clowns.
Even if they sing?
Bozo,
well, I'm going to be talking
Kelly.
about a funny clown in a minute, so that's fine. We'll get to him.
And it seems like they're on a seesaw. As one gets cleaner, the other gets sleazier, because later on, when Sally goes back to the cabaret, she's back in the bustier, and the MC is in a suit with no makeup.
Well, the point of but let's remember what the problems that we both had with this show. And it's all directorial. I went with a friend who has never directed. She's not a theater person, and she said, "I wish they'd let me direct the show." She was so angry. And okay, anyway, the show is about the end of the Weimar Republic as the Nazis are coming into power. That's what the show is about. And it's the suppression of sexuality and homosexuality and garishness and all of the stuff that's going on at the Kit Kat Club. And so this was not what we saw. We saw the stuff going on at the Kit Kat Club. It was a little bit garish. By the way, they destroyed the theater, and they gave these people a stage the size of our desk to work on. It would go up, it would go down, and people could walk around it. But it was the tiniest stage I've ever seen in a Broadway show. And I didn't get the point. I honestly didn't get the point of that.
Neither did I, because as you're pointing out, what's happening in the cabaret is a metaphor for what's happening in Germany. And the two disconnect. So the only thing I got out of it was the seesaw between Sally and the MC, which consequently means that the subplot about a Jewish grocer who falls in love with his non-Jewish landlady,
who's also their landlady. She's Cliff and
Sally's
landlady.
Yes. And this is this part of the show that takes front and center. So this is Bebe Neuwirth, and it's a good part in general, but here she was very good. She's excellent in it, and because
as a former Fraulein Schneider, she was very good.
Right. And because this is now the focus of the play, whether it was intended to or not, she's really got a spotlight, as does Stephen Skybell.
Well, these people have a purpose in the play.
As her, who would be
the point
boyfriend.
is that since there's no point to anything else that's going on, they take focus because they have a point. And their point is that the old love, you can fall in love when you're older, and then suddenly politics enters, and they can't stay be together.
Right.
So they're an older Romeo and Juliet, if you like. That's sort of what's happening.
And there's a very nice, one beautiful metaphor, in the show that should have a lot more, where he's looks like he's going to stamp on a glass, which is a tradition at Jewish weddings, but that turns into crystal knobs.
Yes.
So,
which, by the way, you hear the breaking glass, and then petals fall down.
Right.
So the point, again, going back to this, is that the MC is leading us from the cabaret, basically, which they did in the Alan Cummings one. He went directly into the oven in the particular show that we saw, which is not exactly what they did in London. And that's not what happens here. The MC isn't taking us anywhere. And in the end of the show, he winds up in a suit. But does he have an armband on? I don't even remember if he had an armband on. That's supposed to show that the Nazis have crushed the Kit Kat Club.
Right.
But is he a Nazi? Is he not a Nazi? What's going on?
In the Cummings version, they had an interesting ending. He ends up in a concentration camp, which was totally new. That never happened to Joel Grey. I used to say Joel Grey's MC saw the writing on the wall, got the hell out of there, and they found someone even sleazier.
Well, perhaps, but Anyway, the point is, those of us who know cabaret, and again, you don't go into the show expecting the show that you've seen before. You go in, you know the music, you want to see what somebody's going to show you. I was very unhappy with what I was shown. I was not shown a show about Weimar Republic Germany being taken over by the Nazis. In fact, they had the MC sang the "Tomorrow Belongs to Me" song, which was supposed to be sung by a little.
Well, that actually.
You like that?
No. Well,
I don't mind it when he says "Tomorrow belongs to me."
Well, in the Cummings, the MC doesn't sing it, but he plays it on a phonograph.
Be that as it may, it's like a German, not a real song.
Which brings me to one other bone of contention I have with the play. Cliff is a writer, but he's broke.
Yes.
And he starts running errands for a man that he meets in Germany, Ernest.
He met him on the train. He met him on the train.
By Henry Gotfried. And he knows Gotfried is probably not an upstanding character. He doesn't know he's a Nazi, or he doesn't want to know he's a Nazi.
Yes.
But here's the thing. Ato Blacksonwood is black. Now, the character of Cliff is white, but as we've seen in the theater, it's we do multiracial casting, but I just couldn't help thinking, this guy's a Nazi. He's going to do business with a black man?
Well, if he's running an errand for him, yes. I think he needed someone to run the errand. He's going to Paris. Blacks are accepted in Paris.
But not in Germany.
No, but he's in Germany already. He comes
Right,
to Germany
yes.
before the Nazi. We're taking a period of time in this play. So when he first comes, the Nazis aren't in power.
I'm not saying the fact that he can come and go as he pleases is a problem. I'm saying, would this Nazi who is sending him on the errands?
Yes, because he's doing a nasty job, and somebody's got to do it. I can come up with a couple of answers. And I know what you're saying. It went through my mind as well, and then I had to force it out because I wanted it to work.
Okay.
So
what I basically did, when I got home, I sent my daughter all these YouTube clips from Joel Grey doing the opening number at the Tonys, and then there's a version of the Alan Cummings show. So I said, because I want you to see what this is all about. Out of 5 playbills, I will give this 2.5.
Okay, I would give it 2.